All right, everybody coming to your child's pose, knees out wide, big toes together to touch and stretch your hands out toward the top of your mat, hips really reaching back toward your heels. Let your forehead come down to the mat, and if it doesn't quite make the mat, maybe you can take a block or a blanket or something, just something to let your head land softly. Begin to take slow, deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Breathing in as you expand the side ribs and the back body. And exhale to release and soften. Another one just like that, big inhale through the nose. And open the mouth, let it go. Begin to walk your fingertips over to the left of the mat, coming off the mat onto the floor. Draw the right hip back and reach out through your right pinky, really stretching through your ribs, your intercostal muscles. Try to keep the chest really low to the ground as you switch sides. Come over to the right side of your mat, reaching out through that left pinky and back through your left hip. Take that big breath in and out. As you bring your hands back to center, begin to inhale, rolling up into a cat spine. Tuck the chin to the chest, bring your knees in so that they land underneath your hips. With your next breath in, drop the belly, lift the crown of the head and the tailbone into your cow pose. And exhale back into your cat, really pressing the shoulder blades away. Maybe press the tops of your feet into the mat. Inhale again to your cow, sway back, drop the belly, maybe a little rock side to side here. Inhale to your cat and begin moving here with your breath, just keeping it really easy and steady. When we start to move, we might even close our eyes to kind of bring in just a little bit more of that sense of awareness from within. When we can start to become aware of this center, we can move with it. Maybe invite some organic movement in. Maybe hips start to rock side to side. Maybe you come into dancing lion, big circles with those hips, kind of bringing them toward the floor in the front, out to the sides. If you're coming into this dancing lion, really try to open the heart in the front. That's sort of an anahata kriya. Just start to breathe it open. And then make sure you go in the opposite direction, clockwise and counterclockwise. Great job, guys. Now slowly start to gently bring it back to that neutral and steady spine. Maybe you still have a little sense of sort of rocking on a boat. That sort of way that you keep your center as the boat is rocking. You feel that sort of tuck of the tailbone and the sort of engagement of your deep core abdominal muscles. And let that come into stillness here. Reach out through the back of the heart. Maybe the neck lengthens a little longer, and go ahead and tuck the toes under. Walk the hands as far as you can in front of you. So the hips are going to stay above the knees here. Just start to melt the chest down, coming into puppy pose. This might feel good to bring your forehead to the mat. If your shoulders are feeling really nice and open, you might melt the heart all the way down, bring your chin. And if your shoulders maybe don't quite like that so much, you might try bending one elbow out at a time, or just taking them both really wide. Find a place you can be and kind of settle there for 3 really steady breaths. Feel it enter through the nose, traveling all the way down the spine to your tailbone. And with that exhale, reaching out through the fingertips. One last deep breath in. And exhale to release. Untuck the toes. Let your hips start to kind of sink back to your heels into one more child's pose. Your knees are a little closer together, so you might feel a little bit more of a stretch in your thoracic spine, the middle area here. Breathe in deeply. And let it go. Now slowly begin to make your way back to your table pose. Curl the toes, take the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Walk it out. Feel the knees bend one at a time and the hips go even higher. Nod the head yes, shake it no. Spread the fingers really wide. In your down dog, it looks like an upside down V. So you really want to accentuate that tip of the tailbone. So maybe bend your knees as much as you need to get that length in your spine. And then let's see if you can get the heels a little heavier. Breathe here. And slowly begin to tiptoe your feet all the way to the top of your mat, coming into ragdoll. Feet about hip distance apart. Grab hold of opposite elbows. Let the upper body spill over your hips, over your thighs, head reaching down toward your toes. Maybe there's a sway side to side. Maybe it's just a gentle sort of rocking and going here. Take your last breath in here. Maybe reach the fingertips to the earth. Feel the shoulders start to roll into the sockets as you lift your spine, lengthen it into a nice flat back, and knees can stay as bent as you like here. And exhale, take that round and fold. This time, come all the way into your halfway lift. Fingertips come to your shins or your thighs. Reach out through the crown of the head, nice long spine. And exhale, soften the knees and fold. Take one more just like that. Inhale, lift and lengthen. And exhale, fold. Get really heavy into your heels, bend the knees greatly, and then slowly start to rise all the way up to stand. Straighten your legs, squeeze your thighs and your glutes. Sweep the arms out wide and up overhead. Take a deep breath in, look up between the palms. And on your exhale, bring the hands together right in front of your heart. Feel your thumbs pressing into your heart. Feel your heartbeat. Maybe lift the toes off of the mat. Feel the legs sort of wrap around the bones, the muscles in the bones. Lengthen through the tailbone. See if you can reach a little taller through your crown. And deep breath in. Exhale, soften the toes to the mat. Moving here, sweep the hands out wide and up overhead. Inhale. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold it all the way down. Uttanasana. Inhale, lift and lengthen, nice long spine. And exhale, plant the hands, step the right foot back, lower the right knee. So you can keep the right toes tucked under here. Plant that right hand down and take the left hand to your left shoulder. Elbow reaches up high. And so from here, you might kind of feel where you could create a little bit more ease for the energy to flow in your body. So that might look like coming up onto your fingertips, the right hand. Maybe placing a blanket or something under your right knee. And shift your gaze up toward the sky here. From here, we're going to make big circles with our elbows as if we were drawing a circle here. Take it forward a few times. Squeeze your inner thighs toward each other and take that circle backward a few times. Try not to hold your breath. Really draw the line with the energy of your breath. Last one here. Maybe you extend that left hand up to the sky. Reach between both hands. And exhale, both hands reach the mat. Plant your hands, lift the back knee here, and step back into your plank pose. You can take those knees up or down. If you take the knees down, be careful not to settle into a tabletop. You really want to keep that chest reaching forward, hips nice and long and stable, squeezing the low belly. Take your steady breath in here. See if you can get longer through the heart and the front of your throat. Exhale, let the elbows glaze the side of the body as you lower your whole self to the mat. Untuck your toes here, elbows reaching up toward the sky, and then let them pull back toward your hips. Press into the tops of your feet so much that your knees lift off of the mat, and then start to shine the heart forward, lifting the chin, little baby cobra. See if you can take the creases out of the back of your neck with another breath in. And exhale, come on down. Curl the toes, press the hips back to your heels, child's pose. And then from here, take the hips all the way up, downward facing dog. Try to be really meticulous here. Let the heels get really heavy and the hips get really light. Press into both palms, press away with those shoulders. Full inhale. Open them up, let it go. Walk your feet to the top of your mat. With your next breath in, lift and lengthen, flat back. And exhale, fold and soften. Press down to the heels, come all the way up to stand. Reach those arms out wide, squeeze your legs, breathe in. And exhale, hands land together in front of your heart. Breathing in here. Breathing out. Inhale, reach those hands up high. Exhale, swan dive, fold it forward. Inhale to lift and lengthen. This time we're going to step that left leg all the way back. Lowering the left knee. And again, searching here for that place of ease as you take that right hand to the right shoulder and you look up toward the sky. Maybe this side allows you to keep that left hand down. Maybe you're coming up onto the fingertips on this side too. See if you can think about the line of energy from the crown of your head all the way down to your tailbone. See if you can straighten that, lengthen it. Breathe in a little bit of space. And then take those big circles with your elbows. Take it forward a few times. Every time you inhale, looking up. And every time you exhale, rolling it down. And then switch directions. Last one here. Maybe take that right hand all the way up on your next breath in. And exhale, both hands down, lift that back knee, step back, plank pose. You're choosing if you want your knees up or down here. Squeezing your legs, press out through the back of the heart. And exhale, slowly lower your whole body to the mat. Try to get everything to land at once. Untuck your toes, press your top of your feet into the mat. Inhale, lift and lengthen here. Baby cobra, really shining that part. Thinking about using your back muscles here. Maybe lifting a little more. Exhale, come on down, curl the toes, child's pose. And take the hips up, downward facing dog. Breathe it in and walk it out. And slowly begin to walk the feet all the way to the top of your mat. Try to keep the hips really high. And when you get to the top, lift your heels. Bend your knees as much as you need to. And try to keep the palms flat on the mat. Feel all of that compression. Breathe into it. Keep pressing through the shoulders. And let your next exhale lower the heels, bend into the knees, lift the chest, coming into chair pose. You can take your hands out wide, together at your heart, or the more traditional straight up overhead, although I would say you want to give your shoulders a little bit more space. Hands to heart or out wide is going to be better for you. Lengthen through the tailbone, maybe sit your hips a little lower. Take a look down, make sure you can see your toes, make sure they're facing all in the same direction. And make sure your knees are the same distance apart as your feet. Breathe in. And exhale, stand, hands to heart center. Beautiful job. Inhale, sweep the hands up overhead. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen nice and long spine. Exhale, plant the hands, step your right foot back. This time that knee stays lifted unless you want to bring it on down, totally your choice. Try to keep squeezing the inner thighs toward each other. Charge that right heel, so the one in the back, really charge it forward. See if you can hover your fingertips off of the floor. Resist the urge to dump all of your weight onto that front thigh. Really scoop the belly button off. Lengthen out through the crown of the head. Strengthen that back leg. Breathe here. Nice job. Let's take a deep breath in. And on your exhale, really reach those hands back by your hips. Shine the heart forward. Maybe lift the chest slightly. Palms are reaching up toward the sky. Take another inhale. And another exhale. We're going to take a big windmill here. Right hand sweeps forward. Spin the back heel down, and we're going to windmill open to warrior two. Nice job. When you get there, really kind of make sure you have a deep hip pocket here. Left knee is over the left ankle. Shoulders are squared over the hips. So your body is facing that long side of your back. From here, let those arms soar to the side, gaze past those left fingertips. Breathe steady. You might feel that heat starting to build in your low belly and in your legs. Try to contain that heat, contain that energy with a really steady inhale and exhale through your nose, that Ujjayi breath coming through. Nice job. Let your next exhale cartwheel it down. From here, as you lift the back heel, plant that right hand, take that twist, left arm all the way up. We've been here before. Except this time the back knee is lifted. Another breath in. Another breath out. From here, lower that right knee. And take the arms up into a windmill this side. So now you're facing the left side of your mat. Your right arm is forward. Your left arm is back. Hips are really nice and level, strong legs. Breathe in. And breathe it out, exalt as you take the right arm high. Reach those left fingertips back by your heel. Notice where that energy might feel stuck. How can you soften that space? Maybe you come out of it a little. Breathe into that space. You feel really strong and light. And exhale, cartwheel all the way down. Lift that back knee. Step back, plank pose. From here, you're choosing if you're going to take it all the way down, or maybe take the knees down and take a breath in child's pose. Be where you need to, and we will all meet in child's pose. Rocking the hips really center, side to side. Let the chest come back to center. Breathe in deeply. Open the mouth. Let that heat go. Inhale, lifting up through table. Curl the toes. Downward facing dog. Take it nice and slow, settle in. And then slowly step your feet to the top of your mat. And again, when you get there, high onto your toes. Bend your knees as much as you need to. You could be kind of bent all the way here. Just feel that belly start to glue itself to the thighs. Press into the palms. Feel a lot of compression happening here. You're sort of squeezing the inner organs. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, let the heels land folded here. Inhale, lift and lengthen, flat back. Exhale and fold. Press down through the heels, come all the way up to stand. Inhale. Exhale, hands land at your heart. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, fold it down. Lift and lengthen, flat back. And exhale, this time the left leg steps all the way back. Keep that left knee lifted here. And you know here, as you're starting to sort of gather that strength, pressing your feet down as much as you are squeezing the inner thighs up. You could stay right here and steady the breath. Or start to lift the chest, scoop the belly off of that front thigh. Really plug those shoulders into their sockets. Cover the fingertips off of the floor a few inches. Breath is really steady here. And you can always lower that back knee. And then we're going to lift the chest slightly. Sweep those hands up back by the hips. Finding more of that cobra chest here. Shift your gaze straight ahead. Knee in the back can be up or down. Still really engaging and opening through the chest. Maybe you're playing between the two shapes. Breathe it here in and out. Now the left hand is going to lead the way. Sweep that left hand forward. Spin the back heel down. Open up, warrior two. Your exhale settles down. Find that deep hip pocket. Gazing past those right fingertips. And relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Breathe here. Feel almost as if you were like pressing an isometric pull of pressing your palms toward the earth, pressing the shoulders away from the ears. Last breath in here. And on your exhale, you're going to carve it all the way down, lifting the back heel. Left hand plants, right arm reaches up. Open that twist. This super slow, really aware energy. Keeping that breath really steady. Try to resist the urge to let that right knee fall out. Keep hugging it in toward the midline. Nice job. Take another breath in. And exhale, right hand down. Stepping back, plank pose. You choose if you're going to lower down, finding that cobra pose, or just go on in, take a break in child's pose. Easy Saturday morning. Don't need to ask too much of yourself here. Take 3 steady breaths in your child's pose whenever you get there. Breathing in and out through your nose. Now slowly let the next breath in, lift you up your table. Coming into downward facing dog, just enough to kind of hit that length. And then tiptoe your feet all the way to the top of the mat. This time, step your feet outside of your hands. And so your toes are hanging outside, like the outside edge of your mat, and your heels are in. Your knees are pretty bent, so you could feel as you drop your hips down, your arms are kind of glued to the inner shins. And maybe the hips can kind of come all the way down. You can get a nice long spine, thinking sort of malasana. Yeah. So in your malasana, you're shining the heart forward. The only thing that's different here is that your hands are kind of glued to the ground inside your feet. In my kids' yoga classes, we do this one as frog pose, and I make them jump around. I'm not going to make you jump around. Just try to see if you can lengthen up through the tailbone and out through the crown of your head. Broaden the shoulders away from each other here as you're pressing the back of your arms into your inner thighs. And begin to release. As you turn the toes forward, you might walk the fingertips ahead of you. Kind of a wide-legged fold here. Grab hold of opposite elbows. Soften the knees a little as you bend and sway side to side. Really breathe deep into the back of the heart, into the back ribs. Now from here, release your hands to the ground. Turn your right toes sort of out at that 45-degree angle. And you're gonna step the left leg all the way to the back of your mat. We're coming into a lizard lunge variation. So lower your left knee to the mat. And kind of notice where on your knee you have sort of landed. You wanna try to land more on the front, like the top of your knee, so that you can feel those hips kind of lean forward more. And we're gonna find that same twist here. So your left hand plants, and you might even walk it out a little bit so that you can really open up the chest. Take your right hand to the inside of that right thigh, like really as close to your hip as you can. So this is kind of a very specific movement. Squeeze your left butt cheek. The leg that is long, squeeze that butt cheek. And now roll that right shoulder back and away. Breathing here, take a deep inhale. Open the mouth, exhale. And for the next few breaths, you have your choice. You can just extend that right hand to the sky, or you can maybe bend into that back knee, reach for the toes. Kind of feeling a little bit of a nice deep stretch here. Whatever you do, keep trying to roll that right shoulder down the back. So the shoulder blade really gliding along the back side of those ribs. And maybe lift the chin as you take one more big expansive breath. Ah, beautiful job. Start to release. Try not to slingshot as you bring that right hand back to the front. Lift your back knee, squeeze your inner thighs. And from here, you're going to step the left foot up to the top of your mat. So we're going to find that same squat. We're really getting into some hips here. So be really gentle with your movement. Try not to force yourself into the shape. Go real slow. So breathing here. See if you can sit up nice and tall again. And now we're going to switch sides. So as you turn the toes forward again, take that nice kind of like bending side to side. You can grab hold of your elbows or just kind of let the hands graze the floor. Just sort of letting those juices flow back into that right hip especially. Doesn't really matter what this part looks like, really just kind of feeling into what feels good. Nice job. Come on back to center. And now it's your left toes that are going to turn out at that 45-degree angle, and your right foot that steps all the way back. Lowering onto the top of that right knee. Walking that right hand out. Maybe even your fingers might even come off of the mat a little here. So from here, really think about, again, that meticulous rolling of the right shoulder back, and it feels good bringing that sort of elbow circle in again. Left hand to the really as close to your left hip as you can. And shine the heart open. Breathe in here. Notice if it feels like you're kind of dumping into that right shoulder, can you really press it away, getting long and strong here, and then squeeze that right butt cheek. Last breath in, take that left hand to the sky, or take that bind if you want to bend into the right toes. Bend and reach for the right toes, I mean. Last breath in. As you release, be careful not to slingshot, nice and controlled. Left hand coming back, squaring the shoulders off to the mat. Lifting the back knee. This time we're gonna step it back, plank pose. Breathe here, nice and strong, squeeze the legs. Exhale, lower yourself all the way to the mat. Untuck the toes, press the tops of your feet into the mat, and we're gonna come into a nice high cobra here. So really press into the palms, open the chest. Think about that micro bend in your shoulders and really think about sliding those shoulder blades down the back. Breathe here. Reach out to the crown of the head. Exhale, slowly come down. Doing that again with your breath twice more. Really pressing in, nice and strong. Inhale to lift. Let those hips get heavy into the earth. And exhale, come on down. Last one, pressing up. And exhale, rolling it down. Curl your toes under, press back to child's pose. Take that rock side to side, just sort of getting into your hips and your shoulders. And you can really even take the arms bent, elbows wide, and really sort of stretch the front of those shoulders a little more. Nice job, y'all. Oh yeah, come on back, table pose. And come up onto your knees here. We're gonna do a little bit of a gate flow, which we may have done in one of our last classes. So I'm gonna turn to face you, but you can stay facing the same way, or you can come to face me either way. We're gonna start extending the right leg out long. Make sure those toes are turning the same way as your shoulders are. And then take the hands to your shoulders. Sit up really, really tall, breathe here. And bring the elbows together in the front. They might feel like they reach really easily. They might have some space between them. To see if you can really think about spreading those shoulder blades away from the center of your spine and then reach out taller through your crown. Big inhale, slowly. Try to make big circles with those elbows. Try to keeping them together as much as possible and then open them out. Couple of times, and then the next time that you have landed your elbows sort of back and open, try to hold that openness as you extend the hands out back too, so they kind of feel like wings to me. You can take the hands together, you can keep them right where they are, or you can take them behind your hips, opening through the chest. Do which one feels better. Don't worry about which one you think is, gonna like be more advanced or whatever. There's no such thing as more advanced in here. We are just sort of exploring what feels good. Really take that deep breath in, lining up the sternum with the chin. And exhale. Begin to release the hands out wide. Bring that left hand down to the mat. Float the right foot up, coming into sort of a floating side plank here. Right hand is reaching up toward the sky. Really flex out through that right heel. So the toes are aiming forward, like on the same plane as the floor. It might even help to think about lifting that heel a little higher, feeling a slight rotation of an inner rotation of that hip. Don't hold your breath here. From here, take a deep breath in Exhale, bend that knee, reach for the foot, open through the chest, and then start to really kick into the hands. And release both knees, landing down. Take the hands out in front of you, sort of in a nice, easy child's pose. Breathe into the back of the heart. And let it go. And slowly curl yourself up back to your knees. We're just going to take it to the other side. Sending your left leg out. Really lining up those hips. Make sure they're still in the same plane. Left toes are aiming in the same direction as your heart. Hands to your shoulders. Really feeling, almost as if you could grip the shoulders with your hands, kind of pulling them down and out, and then draw the elbows together. Big circles here, trying to keep the elbows together as long as possible. Open them out, big breath in. And again. Last one. This time those elbows open out to the side. You can keep them right here or extend the palms. Really feeling that breath here. Stabilizing into your hips. Choosing if you want to stay right here, just breathing out through all 10 fingertips, or take the hands together behind your hips. Last breath in here. And release if you have taken the hands behind your hips. Reaching out toward that right hand and then bringing it down. Lifting into that left foot. All of that space in your shoulders. Really try to keep that space. And again, think about lifting that left heel more than your toes. So you kind of feel that really outside of your glute medius happen and turn on. Maybe you're just sort of exploring that little bit of tilt in and out. Steady breath in, and then take that bind if you like it, bending into that left knee, reach for the ankle or the top of your foot. Kick into it, open through the chest. And slowly release both knees down. Hands reaching out to the front of your mat. And if you have turned to the side of your mat like me, we're just going to turn back to face the front, so we'll all meet in child's pose. Using all of that space and strength, we'll come back into the flow. Inhale, lift to table. Curl the toes, downward facing dog. Notice if it feels any different here. Kind of tying into those really mobile joints in our shoulders and our hips. Do you feel any more stable, or can you be a little softer in some areas to create more stability? Breathe in. Breathe out. Begin to walk your feet to the top of your mat. When you get there, inhale, lift and lengthen, nice flat back. Exhale and fold. Press down through the heels, come all the way up, sink the hips, chair pose. And again, hands can be at your heart, up overhead or wide, maybe exploring something different. Sink the hips a little lower and feel the knitting of your ribs together. Breathe in. Breathe out. Next breath in, sink the hips a little lower. And on your exhale, sweep the hands back by the hips. Shine the heart. Inhale, take the hands up, keep the hips low. Exhale again, finding that arrow sweep. Inhale, really meticulous movement. Take it up. Last one, as you take it back, we're gonna step the right foot to the back of the mat. Keep the chest low. And then leading with that right hand, spin the back heel down, open up warrior two. Notice if you feel more space here or less, or if it feels just the same. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Flip that front palm. Let that right hand just glide down the back leg. Reach the left arm to the sky. Keep committed to the bend in the belly. And exhale, cartwheel it all the way down. Lift the back heel, plant the right hand or fingertips. Come into that twist. Open the left hand up. Big inhale, squeeze the hips, squeeze the legs. And exhale, both hands land, step up onto your left foot this time, sending the right foot behind you. Flex those right toes down to the earth. See if you can lift by rolling the inner thigh up to the sky and then lift the heel a little higher. Breathe in. And exhale, hug that right knee to your nose, round into the back, find that cat curl. And step the right foot down. Inhale, stand all the way up, squeeze the legs, reach through the hands. And exhale, chair pose, breathe. Notice if it feels more energetic or more soft even. Where are you allowing yourself a little bit more grace? Can you be there in the movement, in the flow? Take another breath in. And another breath out. Now move as you inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, lower the chest halfway, sweep the hands back. Inhale, hips stay low. Lift the arms and the chest. Exhale, sweep it back. Last one. And sweep it back. This time the left right steps all the way back. Breathe in. Breathe it out. Left hand leads the way. Open it up. Find that warrior two, so strong and graceful at the same time. And exhale, settle down, relax your shoulders, flip the front palm. Left hand trickles down the back leg, breathe it in. Exhale, cartwheel it all the way down. That left hand plants, the back heel lifts, right arm comes all the way up. Breathe in. Nice job, exhale, that left, both hands come down. Stepping up onto the right foot, find that nice strong L stand. You might walk your hands forward a little bit. See if you can drop that left, the front of your left hip a little bit more. Lift out through your left heel, and then your left inner thigh rolls up. Breathe. Beautiful adjustments, you guys. Take another breath in. And your exhale finds that cat curl, knee to nose. Left foot down. Come all the way up to stand, squeeze it all the way up. And exhale, fold it all the way down. Inhale, lift and lengthen, flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, step both feet back, plank pose. And you choose here if you lower, take the flow, or take it back into child's pose. We'll all meet you there. Bring the knees to the mat, hips back to your heels. And take your elbows out wide. Make a little pillow for your forehead with your hands. And just breathe in, really expanding through the back body and the side ribs. Let it go, big exhale. Notice what is showing up for you and sort of the way you talk to yourself. And can you create just a little bit more of that kindness and compassion as much as you give to others? Let you have some too. From here, we're gonna take it real steady. Walk those hands out. Notice if there's kind of a difference of energy in the way that you reach your hands out. Go with it, sort of whatever energy is showing up. See if you can allow it to kind of take the lead. Maybe it is softer, maybe it is stronger. Start to lift up to table. Walk those knees underneath your hips. And curl the toes, downward facing dog. Walk those feet to the top of your mat, nice and slow. And your feet are together here. Start to lower the hips down as you come into toe stand. So you want to lift your heels as much as possible. Rounding your spine, finding all that compression. You might keep your fingertips on the ground here, just sort of giving you a little bit more stability. If you want to sort of test your balance, try to keep your heels lifted really high and your ankles toward each other and your knees squeezing toward each other, and wrap one or both hands around your shins. Breathe where you go. And begin to release. If you've taken the bind, lower the heels, lift the chest, coming into our Lord. Knees come in line with the hips. Hands can come together in front of your heart. This one is also a fun balance. Try to keep those ankles from sort of bowing away from each other. Steady in the heart. And release. We're going to come into Baddha Konasana. So your hips come down, knees come wide, feet stay together. Hands come to your ankles, sit up really, really tall. And try to hinge forward just without rounding into, like caving into the chest. You want to try to stay really tall and lean forward. Try to think about getting your belly to your heels. And it's not actually going to get there unless you're really, really, really wide open. Really want to think about flexion in the spine. Now inhale, come up. Slide those heels a little further away from you so you're making a bigger diamond here. And this time we can really find that sort of caving in. Maybe walking your hands further in front of you, rounding in the back. Breathe in really, really big here. Send that softness to all those tight spots in your jaw and in your shoulders. Down by your hips. Maybe take those fingertips and walk them over to one side. Really stretching into that QL and along the back of your side. Walk the hands over to the other side. As you come back to center, slowly come up, take your hands to your hips. Slide your hands behind your legs, close the legs like a book. So you're sitting up really, really tall. Hands come up, kind of scooping up your knees. Try to keep all that length in your chest. Roll your toes up so you kind of start to lean back onto your sit bones and maybe even a little of your tailbone. Feel that really low, low core start to scoop in and up to support you in this shape. And then maybe you start to hover those heels off of the floor. Try to keep all of this integrity in the upper body. You want a long front body and a long back body. Think about lengthening through your waist. And if you want to take it a little further, you can take the hands out from behind your knees. You can try to level your shins with the floor. Notice where you might start to lose just a little bit of that integrity, and pause there. Go back, come out just slightly, and then take that deep breath in. If you want to try it again, please do. Beautiful job. Take one more nice steady breath in. And exhale, hands come to your knees. Knees come to your chest, come on to your back. Feel those shoulder blades glide underneath you so that the shoulders have lots of space here. And extend the heels to the sky. Hands come down by your hips. Pressing out through the heels, roll the toes back toward your shins. And nod your head from side to side here, just kind of rolling into a massage the back. And now from here, if it feels like you have kind of a lot of tension in your back because you're rolling those shoulder blades so far under you, feel that soften and just let the back land where it is. Feel the low back kind of soften to the mat. Breathe it in here. And start to take the hands toward that right calf. You might be at your ankle, you might be at your knee, depending on the length of your hamstrings here. Try to point and flex that right foot. Keep pressing out through that left heel to the sky. Both hips are still really rooted down. Roll that ankle around. Start to feel all those tiny little muscles on the front of your ankle stretch. And then release as you switch. Really flexing out through that right heel up toward the sky. The side might feel a little different. Roll and point and flex into that left ankle and foot. Now release both heels to the sky, hands coming out into goalpost arms or even like a big X. From here, slowly lower the heels just to a hover, maybe just a few inches. Keep reaching out with the heels. And bring the knees to the chest. Round yourself into a little ball here. Breathe in and out. Rock side to side. Lifting your shoulders off of the mat. And try to get a little closer to you so you can see what's going on here. Shoulders off of the mat. You're tucking yourself into a little ball. Try to keep all of this compression as you release your hands from your shins and reach your hands past your heels. So this is really like deep core work. So you're really trying to come into a really tight egg shape. If you want to kind of reintegrate that tightness, you can hug onto your feet, hug them in, keep the shoulders lifted, and then reach the hands past. Try to keep all of that compression. Breathe here. Don't hold your breath. One more. Let the back release long. Bring your feet to the floor. Hands down by your hips. Lift the hips high. Bridge pose. Oh, this tends to feel really, really yummy after all of that hip flexor sort of activation. Breathe in. See if you can keep pressing into the heels. Lift the hips even higher. If you want to interlace the hands underneath your hips, feel free to go there. Keep pressing into the heels, maybe even roll the toes off of the mat. Squeeze the hips and the butt. And begin to release nice and slow, one vertebrae at a time. Take those hands out to that big X again and let the knees fall to the left. Big twist here, maybe stacking the hips and the knees. Take a big belly breath in, fill it all the way up. And release. Really lazy, switch the sides. Hips just kind of roll through center and over to the right. Stack your hips and your knees. Arms are really stretched out wide in that big X. And again, that big belly breath here. And back to center. From here, really just kind of maybe closing your eyes and allowing the body to come into whatever shape it feels called for here. So that might be happy baby. It might be another sort of reclined Supta Baddha Konasana. I think that is what it's calling me today. My arms really stretched out wide, knees out wide, and toes, soles of my feet together. And maybe if happy baby or plow pose or something else is calling for you, please take what you need here. Just start to let go of the practice, releasing it. As we kind of soften into letting go of the physical practice here, try to keep your mental sort of awareness here. This is, some of the easiest of our asana, our physical practice to perform, to do, but it's the hardest to commit to. And so that is why we move and we breathe and we kind of burn away some of that heat so that we can come into stillness. And once you have sort of felt that release happen, begin to allow yourself to drift into Shavasana, letting the legs sort of come out nice and long, giving the feet their own corners of the mat. Bring your hands down by your sides, and you can open the palms up to the sky if you kind of need a little bit more of that, good, compassionate, sweet energy to receive. And if you are kind of ready to give, turn the palms to the ground, let it seep away. Give your body one full big inhale here. Squeeze your whole body. Your legs, your butt, your belly, your shoulders. Big inhale. And exhale, just release. Let yourself just sort of fall into this natural shape of softness and release. Let the mind, drift as it will. Keep drawing your attention back into the body and into the breath. To this sort of rinsing of the mind and the body as your breath moves freely. Let go of any controlled inhale or exhale, ujjayi breath. Let the body just be, let you be. And when you are ready to begin awakening, deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Start to let that movement grow. Rock your head side to side and roll your wrists and your ankles. Just sort of coming back to life. Before you let it turn you over, open your eyes and take in your surroundings. Feel a smile soften onto your face and feel the joy of all that is you, all that is your life. And hands, softly closing the eyes. Let your body start to curl from lying on your back to curling up onto your favorite side. And it doesn't matter which side you choose. Throw your knees to your chest and rest your head on your bicep, and pause here for a moment in this gratitude, in this sort of sweet joy. This feeling of sort of between here and there, between now and then, between before and after, between sleep and wake, and feel the presence of your body and your mind and your heart. And start to press your way into a comfortable seat as you're ready. You can keep your eyes closed if that feels good to you. Gather the palms together in front of your heart, and then take the thumbs up to your third eye as you sort of bow into yourself, into your practice. Take a deep breath in, and open mouth, big sigh. Another one just like that, big inhale. Big sigh, let it go. Let those hands come back to your heart as you bow your chin to your chest, to the light deep within, honoring all that ever is, all that ever was, and all that ever will be, and the becoming of you. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste.